Thank you. I'll tell you, actually, there is bipartisan support. It's the NRA that gets in the way, and I'll come back to that in a minute. In the United States, we represent 4.5% of the world's population, yet we own 50% of the private guns in the world. And of those guns, 50% of them are owned by 3% of our population. There have been more deaths in the United States since 1968 at the expense of a gun than all the deaths that have ever been committed against our soldiers in the act of war. Let that sink in. More deaths by gun violence in our country than at war since our founding. So we have to do something, and there is bipartisan support. There is bipartisan support for background checks, for no-fly list for those that are not able to purchase guns that are on the no-fly list. There is support for eliminating assault weapons. There is support for putting limitations on high-capacity magazines. And we need to stand up to the NRA by getting together and working to offset the dark money they are bringing into election after election so that we can get common sense gun control passed in this country.
I've got a couple of follow-up questions again. First for Harley Rouda, you mentioned offsetting dark money and using common sense gun control. Can you outline very briefly within a minute how that plan would play out?
Sure. Talking about Citizens United court case that was decided in 2010. And prior to that case, we had about $150 million of dark money that was coming in and being used in elections across the country. Since then, in the 2016 election cycle, it grew to $1.6 billion. And it is the root cause of the fact that folks like that are controlling the NRA are influencing these elections. They are making it very clear to their supporters, typically in the Republican Party, that they will put somebody up against them with huge amounts of money and force them out of office if they don't toe the NRA line. The only way we can overcome that is twofold. One, get Democrats into the House of Representatives and the Senate and the White House. And second, have reform for Citizens United that diminishes the power base of the NRA.